This will be a pre-recorded webinar. So a little bit about myself before we get started. My name is Ryan Amian, and over here at Hartmann Controls, I have a few roles such as engineering support, junior programmer, and junior sales. I've been with the company for over 2 years, so if you have any questions, I will definitely be able to answer them. So let's start with the company background. Hartmann Controls is a privately held Canadian corporation founded in 1998 by Andy and Glenda Hartmann. So we have over 20 years of access control solutions. Our controllers are manufactured north of Ontario. And what this means for you are very short lead times since nothing is being outsourced. Our support and our research and development is also all Canadian based. The hardware I'm about to show you is our 3rd generation product, and it is designed with the modern world in mind. What I mean by this is you can connect the panel straight to a router or a switch and everything just starts talking to each other. We are highly praised from all our dealers and integrators for our customer service and support, which, as you know, is key in our business world today. This means that when you call in, you'll get someone very quickly and they will be knowledgeable to assist. If needed, they can remote in to troubleshoot. It also means that there won't be many handoff to other departments as all our support staff are well trained in every aspect of the product. One really nice aspect of Hartmann is that we are not just a software company, we make the hardware and the software. This means that we don't do much finger pointing as opposed to some of the other vendors when we are dealing with an issue. It also means that we don't have to charge high costs for software licensing as opposed to other software-based only companies. If you would like information on licensing, please contact our sales department. We're also known for having an open API. It is very well documented and well fit for the modern world. If anyone doesn't know what that means, it basically means that we can integrate with third-party devices and third-party devices can integrate with us. Whether it's a camera system, an intercom, phone system, etc., they can all easily integrate with our software. The product line I'm about to show everyone today is called ProtectorNet. This will consist of our hardware, our software, and all the integrations that come along with that. We have 2 main core pieces of hardware. On the right, we have our PoE-powered ODM TDM devices. That's our 1 or our 2-door controller. So those are meant to go above the door on the secure side. On the left, we have our PRS retrofit controller, which is designed to be put in a storage closet. This is used in takeovers, larger environments where more inputs and outputs are needed. Let's talk a little bit about the safety of the product. We have the highest certification to ensure the safety of our products. So we are ULC 294 listed, FCC, and CSA. All our boards use a solid state design, and this is really good because it means there are no moving parts. Even our battery and our light sensors are all solid state. Traditionally, access control panels usually have a mechanical relay. Ours is solid state. Our flash and our memory are also powered by a supercapacitor rather than the traditional CR2032 battery. Every circuit is protected by short and over voltage protection, which means that if a technician accidentally shorts a circuit, it won't break the panel. It is a fuseless design, meaning if you do short the board, there are no fuses to replace. All that will happen is that circuit will turn off until you remove the short and then come back to life like nothing happened. We stand behind our hardware with a 5-year prorated warranty. All our boards are user-friendly for technicians to install and manage. On the top of the panel, up here, there is an LCD screen, which can be leveraged to run diagnostics, troubleshooting, or see what the panel is actually doing without having to use an extra tool, read off an app, or look at any dip switches. All our boards also do distributed processing, which means that they will need a server somewhere. It also means that if the network goes down or the server is not powered on, the panels will still function as a standalone. On board, they will hold 100,000 card holders, 50,000 offline events, unlimited time zones, and you can also have unlimited panels on one server. Our boards support a wide variety of credential and reader, but any reader that is weakened will be fully compatible with our hardware. Our PRS system also supports OSDP reader. Our HCC40 bit card format, this is our ultra secure non-clonable bit format, and it can only be obtained from the manufacturer. This will only work on our hardware. We also do have the ability to lock the software to use only that format if necessary, and this is used in those higher security environments where card cloning is an issue. So talk a little bit about the ODM. So the ODM is, once again, as I said, it's designed to be put above the door. How it works is you have a Cat5 coming right here, has enough power, it is PoE, power up the board, power up the display, and we do have a patented motion sensor. So a little tech specs. So the our ODM/TDM, so our one-door module or two-door module, both of the boards are exactly the same. They support one lock power relay, so that's 12 volts DC at 500 milliamp. You also have two dry contact relays, which are up to 24 volts at 1 amp. So if you have any mag locks, go ahead, stick them in there. And the board also has a 12 volts, 500 milliamp output that's shared with the reader. So you can connect another strike, a piezo buzzer, whatever you need to. Why over the door? Over the door design reduces install costs. Okay, so you don't need to run any sort of long access control cabling back to the closet. It's also good because just a single Cat5 is needed to power the lock, the reader, and your auxiliary devices. And how it works is with the built-in patented motion sensor, you can also save more cost because it is built into the hardware, so no external motion sensor, no messy wiring or anything. And you can use this motion sensor to shunt the door contact, or you can actually configure it to unlock the door. So in the scenario where you had a mag lock, you just walk right up to the motion sensor, it will trip that mag lock, and you're out. Now, all of our inputs and our outputs on this board are reassignable and fully configurable in the software. Let's talk about the PRS, which is our panel retrofit style. So this is our traditional style board. It is one of the most compact 8-door kits in the industry. So you can see it has your battery backup directly into the case. Each of these smaller boards are 2-door modules, so it is expandable up to 8 doors, so 2, 4, 6, 8. I will show a closer look at that module a bit later. Now, it is a very compact controller because as you can see, that's 8 doors in reference to that 12-volt battery size. Just like the ODM, TDM, all the inputs and the outputs on this panel are fully configurable, so nothing's hard-coded. So you can go ahead, stick a motion sensor wherever you want, and request to exit, and just configure that in the software. The PRS also has integrated power for 8 door lock outputs. You can connect the strikes directly to the lock output, which helps. You can do up to 24 inputs, up to 16 relays, up to 8 Wiegand or OSDP readers. And it's very cost-effective if you're doing more than 2 doors. So pretty much you'd prefer to get the PRS rather than couple TDMs in that case. Okay, so here's the closer look at the expander board. So this is a 2-door panel. It's a small little square, and it supports, 2 lock power outputs. As you see, lock power output 1, which is 12 volts, 500 milliamp. Lock power 2, it's also 12 volts, 500 milliamp. It is wet output, so it's not 24, sorry. And our dry relays, we do have 4 of them, and they are up to 24 volts at 1 amp. And along with, the 6 inputs at the bottom here. Okay. Now, the PRS also comes in different forms. You can get it in the PRS IO, which is our IO board that supports up to 64 IOs or floor. For elevators, we do support button sensing and relay non-button sensing. This panel is good for unmanaged or monitored doors. You can use them for emergency exit. I actually see them being used a lot for classroom or classrooms. And definitely your emergency exits where you don't necessarily need a reader. Okay, all our panels support a built-in HTTP web interface. It is brute force protected. And this is good because say you installed a panel and then a week later you need to make configurations on that panel. Let's say this panel is in drop ceiling and you come a week later and you actually want to configure like an IP address or something. You don't necessarily have to grab the ladder, move the drop ceiling, etc. You can make remote configurations right from this web interface. What's nice about it is you can remotely view, you can change all the configurations on the panel, and you can also view real-time status of all doors and events. So to access that, just use the IP address of the panel, and you'll be right in once you get past the password protection. All our boards support LCD diagnostics, and this just helps reduce the amount of technicians actually needed to install the hardware. We have the output test. This allows you to fire the outputs right from the LCD screen. Input test is nice because it will allow you to pretty much tell if we're receiving an input. So the panel will beep every time it receives an input. Reader test is a really nice one. We do have some dealers that purchase a panel just for this feature. And how it works is any card that is presented during reader test mode will be able to display on the LCD screen the number of bits, the site code, and the card number. And we also do have some network tests such as ping with IP, ping with name, etc. So overall, you can save time on installing by utilizing all of these diagnostics on the board. Instead of having someone in the electrical room to fire a relay, your tech can do it right from the screen. Okay, so the software I'm going to be showing everyone is called ProtectorNet. It comes in English, Spanish, and French. For the server requirement, we're not asking for much. We're asking for minimum Windows 7, Windows 10, server 2012 to 2019, CPU dual core 2 gigahertz or higher, RAM 4 gigabytes or higher, and hard drive at least 10 gigabytes for that database. Okay, so a little bit about how the panel actually connects to the server. So we do it differently than most other access control systems. We connect with a push method. And what I mean by this is the panel is always looking for the server. So you have to put the server address in the panel. So for example, I could put a server address across the world and my panel will go out and it will reach to that server across the world. This is also nice if your dealer or integrator wants to host multiple clients at their office, for example. How it works is if you have 20 remote clients, you don't need to have access to do port forwarding at the client's router. You only have to do it where your office server is. So that's really nice because you don't have to pretty much ask IT to do any sort of port forwarding rules or anything. It's only done at the server. Okay, the software supports cloud hosted, dealer hosted, and deployed. So cloud hosted is your Amazon server, your Microsoft server. We also do have the Hartmann server. Now, dealer hosted is where you keep the software on a computer in your office. Deployed is what I see a lot of dealers doing, and that's software on the site. ProtectorNet has full web-based administration, so any HTML5 browser will be able to access the web server. So Chrome, Safari, Firefox, whatever you want to use. It is built on a fully RESTful open web API, so anything that I'm doing in the software can be done behind the scenes. And I'll go into the API a bit later on. It has powerful partitioning and it allows administrative segregation. And what I mean by this is, let's say we had 3 buildings and you want to go ahead and you want to create an admin for building 1, 2, 3, 3 separate admins. When they log in, they'll only be able to see their own building, but the system admin, when they log in, they can see all 3 buildings at once. Now, these permissions are pretty granular, so you can give admin for building 2 permissions to add users in building 3 if you want to. Core features, ProtectorNet supports enterprise level scalability, so 1 to thousands of doors. Our biggest site is a banking chain in Malaysia with 1,500 doors. That being said, we can also do your small mom and pop shop with like 1 to 10 doors. ProtectorNet will be able to suit for all installs. We support unlimited doors, time zone access rules, unlimited administrators, and concurrent administrators, so you can have multiple admins make changes at the exact same time. And we have a large transaction event storage. It's up to about 60 million right now. So if you need to do any sort of auditing for like 5 years ago, you'll be able to have that information. Okay, ProtectorNet also supports active maps. This is a big one because you can go ahead and you can import in a blueprint of your building. How it works is you drag your door over, you drag your camera, etc. And if a door is open, forced open, etc., it is active, so it will show you on the map the entire building all at once. We'll play around with that in a second. Monitoring screen is nice. It is the guard screen where your guard stands behind a monitor and pretty much just verifies that the person badging in matches the profile picture. I see it used a lot in daycares. Camera matrix is nice because we can support up to 4x4 multi-vendor, so you can have Hikvision or Digital Watchdog, whatever you want, all on one window. We have unlimited custom fields and uncomplicated backup and restore. Powerful triple swipe feature, and what I mean by this is 3 consecutive swipes will do a special action. You can make the action local or global. So a local action on 3 swipes would be like, toggle the status of my door. Global action, turn on my toaster. We'll play around with that in a bit. Configurable crisis levels. So we have 16 levels of fully configurable. You can set each level to whatever you want it to be. Global anti-passback. So if we do enable this, how it works is after you badge in, your user would not be able to give the card to the person behind. And if you want custom features, we do have our ACE engine. We'll play around with it in a bit. So when you first log into the software, you'll see that it is nice and colorful, pretty appealing to the end user. At the top here, we have crisis level, so crisis overrides, door overrides. Let's say I want to override my accounting door. super simple. We have elevators, outputs, inputs, and that just means send data to the panel. Over here, we have administrator settings. So on the ProtectorNet mobile application, you can scan that QR code and add that user right into your cell phone, which is pretty nice. We designed the web server to be broken into categories. So we have day-to-day reporting, scheduling, system. So under day-to-day, I'm just going to go through some of the useful actions. We have users, access privilege group or roles, camera matrix monitoring, maps, APP status if you want to do user tracking, etc. Reporting is where we keep everything reporting based. So we have notification, muster, time tracking, door activity, user activity, etc. Scheduling is where we keep everything like schedule, like door time zones, user time zones, floor time zones, output time zones, etc. System is where we keep everything system based. So partitions if you want to add more buildings, sites and areas. We also have our scripting engine right here and a few more other options. And hardware is everything panel related. So doors, panels, elevators, camera systems, etc. Now, it does look a little too much going on. That's because this is a system admin login. I'm actually going to show everyone how to create a login for the client or a guard. So let's go ahead and we'll create an administrator for a guard. So we're going to go guard at test.com. Guard. Okay. What's nice is I have the option of selecting which building I want this guard to be part of. So you'll be a part of Barry office. Now for permissions, we are pretty granular. So we have a permission for everything you can probably think of. That being said, for this one, I just want to go ahead and say, okay, you can view the status, you can pulse the door, you can view the maps, and that's about all. So we'll hit save. This is real time. So if I log into this user, let's go to guard at test.com, test 1, 2, 3. You'll see it's a more simplified version of that web server without all of the other options available to this guard. So as I said, this guard can only see maps. If I head over to doors, you can only pulse unlock the door, no override privileges. And what's nice is I did give the guard the option to view the status of the panels also. So if I double click here, you'll be able to have status of what all the panels are, what all the doors are, panels, etc. So let's log out back into our testing. So I want to show everyone exactly how easy it is to get a site up and running. So imagine we just first got the site. This is a panel. We just downloaded the software. And how it works is we're going to head over to unknown panels. I'm going to click the add button beside, that's my panel right now. That's the IP address. I'm going to go and say this is the front and rear door. What's nice is we automatically fill in the MAC address so you don't have to. We have the option of adding a panel password. Let's go ahead and automatically add my doors, remove tamper sensor, hit save. Yes, I do have door contacts. Now that that's done, we can actually head right over to doors. And under door, you'll see I have my front door, my rear door. Let's hit the edit button under front door. Okay, under front door, we have a few options such as I can change the time zone right here if I wanted to. Under holiday group, I can add holidays. Options, I'm just going to go through the important ones. I can go ahead and I can make my door an orange, which means only users that are orange or lower, or sorry, or higher will be able to come through. We do have the option of keep door unlocked while input active. Unlock time is where you specify how much seconds you want to keep the door unlocked for. Automatic door opener is enabled on the door. I'll talk about that a bit later. And under disable, it's options you want to disable. So in the scenario where the mag locks automatically opens the door with the motion sensor, you'd want to remove that check mark there. Under reader, we have the option of like back-to-back filters if necessary. We can also go ahead and enable triple swipe. So these are all local actions. So I can activate an output, auxiliary, I can toggle the alarm status. So on a triple swipe, I can arm the alarm or disarm, and I can induce a couple door overrides. So we'll play around with toggle unlock. So I'll hit the save button there. Under areas, I can turn on user tracking if I wanted to. I can turn on anti-passback here. And if I had a camera system, I can put it right on the door. Now this little blue bar at the bottom here, what this is this means that there is an update pending that needs to be downloaded to the panel. So what we did is we designed a timer. So if, let's say you add a user and you forget to send that information to the panel, after this timer reaches 0, it will automatically update the panels. This is configurable. You can drop it down to about 5 minutes, the lowest. But that being said, if you do need instant updates, hit the update panel button right now. So after we got our panel added, our doors added, everything's fully configured, we want to go ahead and we want to create an access privilege group. So we're going to create my access group. I'm going to call it always access. And I'm just going to add all my users. And I'm going to say, okay, my front door reader will have a 9 to 5. And my rear door reader will have a 9 to 5. So now that that's complete, we're going to go ahead and let's actually add a user. Now, ProtectorNet supports adding users in multiple ways. We can do reader enrollment. You can click the add button if you want to, or we can also import from like a CSV document. So let's grab a card. Let's badge it at the reader. As you can see, we have an unknown user denied. So I'm just going to click on that for reader enrollment. Now I have the option of doing first name, last name. So we'll do Hartmann webinar. Starts on, expires exactly what it is. If you know your user is going to start or expire, fill that out. Crisis level, make this a SWAT, so code red. We do have some user attributes such as master. So if this user is a master, you'll be able to go through any door except for man traps. Supervisor can go through locked door. First card in is whatever it's exactly what it says right there. Triple swipe is that special action. Disengage alarm if you want to triple swipe to or a single swipe to arm or disarm the alarm system. And auto opener is nice because for the current pandemic, this will allow you to just swipe the card. You don't have to hit the handicap button. We have the option of adding a card holder picture. We can add accessory pictures if necessary. And we do have unlimited custom fields. So you're going to be the boss of floor 3, for example. And then I can go ahead and I can put the email address, city, state, etc. What's nice is because I did reader enrollment, we automatically fill the card number in so you don't have to. But let's say I also want to add a pin. Let's go add that. Super simple. And you're going to be part of always access doors, I think I called it. So we'll hit the create button. And we'll update the panels because now we're done all configuration. Now if I grab that card, if I can remember which one it is, probably this one here, and I badge it, you'll see Hartmann Webinar is now granted access. So it's actually that simple to get up and running to create pretty much to program the software from scratch. So let's try out a triple swipe. So 1, 2, 3. As you can see, my door is now unlocked. And now I'm coming back. 1, 2, 3. Super simple. Door is obviously resumed. Okay, if I want to create a time zone, so let's say I want to create a lock or unlock time zone. We're going to go into door time zone. I'm just going to hit the add button here, and we're going to call this Hartmann webinar again. And I have the option of selecting what building because I am the system admin. So let's go to Barry office. Now I can click Monday and let's go start 9 a.m., stop 5 o'clock. Now we are to the exact minute, so 4:59:59 it will change. Our mode, I can go ahead and we do support lockdown, card only, pin only, card or pin, card and pin, unlock, first credential, and dual credential. So I just want to do an unlock schedule, okay? So I'll hit the add button under unlock. As you can see, my door is unlocked from 9 to 5. Now, I'm not going to make you redo it for the other 6 days. You can click and drag over. Or at the top, we do have the option of doing week, weekend, or weekdays. So let's do week, and it will automatically add that for you. Now, you can go ahead and you can do up to 20 different spans. So you can go ahead and do another one here if you really wanted to. So like 6 p.m. to 10:59, go ahead and make that a pin, and so on. Let's just hit save. All right, perfect. So let's head back to our webinar here real quick, and we'll continue. All right, so our script engine, okay? So our script engine is pretty much our bread and butter, okay? So nowadays, we found out that end users are more actively involved in features that will make their lives easier. Our ACE can customize ProtectorNet to meet these unique cases. And this is where we can really shine. This is our most powerful features. It helped dealers get jobs they otherwise wouldn't be able to bid on. And it also helped us stay in buildings had we not adapted to the needs of the end user. You can use ACE to text email based on any condition. We can interact with other systems, so we can interact with a third-party system's API. We can make customizable lockdown, and we can meet these edge cases not native to the software. And what that means is after your client installs pretty much an access control system, if they come to you 3 months later and they're like, this feature would really help me, we can meet that case, okay? So you'll be able to actually create those features and get that good report with the customer or client. So how it works is our ACE engine is a server-side scripting engine that uses a limitless number of triggers and actions to create a task. At the end of the day, what this does is it helps you customize the software to help you do anything you want. You can make your own action plans by yourself. And when I say scripting, a lot of people, they get a little turned off. They're like, well, I'm not technical. I don't know scripting. No, we designed this to be client friendly. So it is drag and drop if they want to make their own features. If your dealers or integrator want to, you pretty much just drag and drop everything over. That being said, for the dealer integrator, it can get fairly complex depending on what sort of feature you're looking for. And in that case, you can leverage our support to give you a hand. We've already run into about 280 these unique cases where we do store them. So a dealer calls in, they ask us for a unique scenario. We have a storage file over here with over 200. So chances are if you call in and you ask for a feature similar to that, we can go ahead, make a few changes, and email that over to you. These scripts are easily shareable and you can save them for obviously reuse, okay? That being said, if we don't have the script or the feature you're looking for, our turnaround times have been less than an hour to create these scripts for you. And what's nice about this is all these scripts are fully backed by Hartmann controls. So if you call in saying, I need a feature that will activate my Tesla charger, okay? And we've actually done that one for a couple of customers. We'll go ahead, we'll create it. 99% of the time, there is no fee or charge to the integrator. It's just that 1% if we have to get our senior software developer involved, he or she will want payment for their time. So let's actually go into a couple examples before I show you how it works. So we can use it to email customized report at scheduled times. We can unlock multiple doors with a single card read, guard monitoring. We can also send alerts and bookmarks to VMS systems. So that's a pretty nice one. So if you have a forced open, we can book that right in Digital Watchdog. So when you log into like Digital Watchdog, for example, you'll be able to see that alert, click on it. You can see who's obviously forced the door open. We can do in-hand triple swipe. And let's actually play around with it before I talk about it too much. So there's two main concepts. We have a plan and we have a trigger. How it works is, I'm going to go into trigger first. You can make whichever one first. Think of trigger as the first thing that needs to happen before your plan happens, okay? If I want to lock down all 1,500 doors in Malaysia with a triple swipe, my triple swipe is the first thing that I need to do before those doors will lock, okay? So just keep that in mind. The first thing is the trigger. So how it works is we have a couple of conditions, and I'll go through them and I'll explain what we've done with them and what you can do with them, okay? For example, timer trigger. Timer trigger is good because it means we can run those actions, whatever those actions are, at a certain time. I've done schools with these where I can unlock doors. We also do have, you can email who's late for the day, who didn't show up for the day at certain times. Doors, we have the option of open, close, unlock, lock, force open. There's a whole bunch more. For example, on forced open, if you want to email a picture of who forced open the door, we can go ahead and we can do that. It is supported by Digital Watchdog and Hikvision at the moment. Under reader, we have the ability of access granted, denied, first card in, triple swipe. These are all triggers as the first thing that needs to happen, okay? So access granted, I have the ability of choosing my reader and I can select that special user so it doesn't work for everyone. Under inputs, obviously I can wait, like input activate, input deactivate. If I have a button on the wall that'll go ahead and lock my 1,500 doors in Malaysia, I can go ahead and say, okay, on activation of this button, lock all my 1,500 doors. But if this button is deactive, if I push it again, resume all my doors. So we do have the ability for that. Outputs, we have on, off. Panel, we have disconnected, which is really nice. Tamper sensor also. Disconnected means if I set my trigger as disconnected and my plan says email when disconnected, how this works is anytime a panel is disconnected, it will send off an email. So obviously your dealer integrator can fix that problem before the client even knows the panel was down or disconnected. And obviously you can choose your panel. It is pretty granular. So state, we have added updated, delete, change, login. Obviously, there's a lot of triggers. So let's actually talk about action plans real quick. So under action plans, we have two action plans. We have a system and a trigger. The trigger action plan requires a trigger. So if I wanted to do my triple swipe, that is my trigger. But system will give me a play button, meaning I can hit the execute button. What's nice is system will also pop up on our ProtectorNet mobile application. So for example, let's actually make one called playing with panels. We'll hit the create button here. Now session variable is where we store information, not necessary for today. And this is our action plan. So how it works is you drag the left action over to the right. I'm going to go through some of the actions and we'll actually make some plans. So anti-passback, we can go ahead, we can reset users areas, set areas, camera system, you can go ahead, fill out that information and it will go ahead and email. For example, if you had a forced open as a trigger, you can email like that. Door, we have the option of override door, pulse door, resume door. If I drag an override door over here, I can select my door. Let's just do one I'm not using, R&D. And then we can go put that door on lockdown. So when I hit the execute button, that door goes into lockdown. Super simple. For general, this is where we keep more of our timer trigger, our log files, etc. Inputs, outputs, nice, because I can go ahead and I can override outputs. So I can say, okay, let's turn on my output 3 every time I hit that button on the wall. You can go ahead and do that if you want to. Network is where we keep our email action. So on the forced open, you can go ahead and put an action to just send an email. Not a problem. HTTP request is where we can integrate with those third-party APIs, and we can also integrate with our own API. Nice one here is panel. We do have some disconnect panel, play sound on panel. So if I want to make a doorbell, I can go ahead and I can choose my front and rear door panel, and I can go play this sound. So every time someone hits the button on the outside, I can play a nice little sound. And there has been a lot of uses for that. If I want for reader, I can manipulate the reader. So if I want to make, for example, an intercom system, like I don't want to purchase an intercom system, I can go ahead and I can have the receptionist on the inside hit the button, which would be the trigger, the button. And how that works is I can go and select my reader. I can blink the reader, turn the buzzer on, beep the reader, whatever I want. I can turn the buzzer on, for example. I could go general, add a time. Now when I drag the timer over to the first action, you'll see I have a fail, a success, and an always. How this works is failure of that buzzer to turn on. You can drag that and then do a different set of action. Success means that buzzer turned on, and always is I don't care if that buzzer turned on. So I want this to be successful, that I can go ahead and drag a 10-second here. And that will obviously be a 10-second buzzer. If I didn't want to do that and I want to do a simple triple beep, for example, I can go ahead and hit the execute button. And you can hear my panel beeping. It's really nice. So that's pretty much our reader action there. There we go. SMS messaging, we support Clickatel and Twilio. For triggers, we have a lot of wait for triggers. So if I want to make a custom held open, like for example, 15 minutes, go ahead and beep my reader. Super simple. We'll just go ahead and we'll do front door, wait for it to close. What are we gonna do? We're gonna wait, I think I said 15 minutes. And then I can go ahead and I can drag a log file over that says, failure of that door to close in 15 minutes, meaning it's held open for 15 minutes, simple. And on success, we can go ahead, we can drag the reader action over on a success up here, and we can say, okay, let's go triple beep my reader. Now, and it's that simple to actually create that custom script that I just made up. Now under user, we have the option of automatically adding that user in an access privilege group. We can actually search groups. There's a lot of things you can do. Kind of want to show two of our scripts that turnaround time has been an hour for really big organizations. Okay, so first one called randomized pin. And before I actually show what it is, I'm going to explain it a bit. So we have an airport hangar over here in Toronto where the pilot had some sort of red tape where the admin would have to log in and change the pilot's PIN every single week, okay? So this is okay if you have one pilot, but if you have 50 to 100 pilots, you have to change all 50 pilots or 100, whatever, and you'd have to somehow get that PIN number out to them, okay? They heard of our action scripting engine. They're like, can you help us? So they ended up using ProtectorNet for this reason. So how it works is we have the username password to log into our own API. And we're just going to do a couple of commands. So the authorization command will log us into our own API. We're going to go into our users. We're going to grab all the users in the building. We're going to, after we have the user, we're going to go ahead and we're going to store their ID because that's all we need. Once that's done, we're going to go into the credential of that user's ID, and we're going to make sure it's a PIN. We don't want to change card numbers, okay? Once that's done, we're going to go and we're going to delete that credential and put a new credential in. On the production version of this script, how it works is it will email each individual pilot their new PIN numbers every single week on a secure channel. So it's just a way how we can make these custom features to get past any sort of red tape. I'll also show another nice action plan here. And we're actually going to create this one. So this will be a system, and I'll call this the sunset trigger. So I can show how easy it is to actually share these plans. So how this works is I'm just going to copy the plan over here. And we're going to head to JSON, and we're going to put that plan in here. As you can see, it fully populated the entire plan. And this is exactly how easy. We would just email you over the script, or we'll remote in and create the script if needed. Okay, but a little background information on the script before we go further. So we have a synagogue over in New York. And how it works is they had some red tape where on Friday for Sabbath or Shabbat, they're unable to interact with any sort of electronics. At the same time, the door had to unlock at sunset. Now, this was a problem because the rabbi would have to log in every single week and change that information because the sun sets different time based on seasons, etc. They heard of our action scripting engine. They're like, can you help us out? So they actually decided to use ProtectorNet for this feature. So how we designed it was we grabbed the latitude and the longitude of where that synagogue is. Obviously, we have the logins to log into our system. They wanted 30 minutes before sunset, 150 after to unlock. And how the plan works is we're going to log into a website called api.sunrise-sunset.org. We're going to stick in the latitude, longitude, and that's going to give us a sunset time. Once we have that time, we're going to log into our own API, head to time zone, and put that time in there. Super simple. And I'll actually show how this works right now. So let's actually create a new time zone. So we're going to head to door time zone. We'll hit the add button, and we'll do it for the Barry office. So we're going to call this my lockdown time zone. Actually, we won't do lockdown. I'll do 9 to 5 so everyone can see how it works. So I'll click on Monday. I'll go ahead and I'll do my 9 a.m. to my, our 4:59 p.m. And that's because we're to the exact minute, so 4:59:59. And I'll go ahead and say it's unlock. Now, you can use Monday and you can drag it to Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. Or you can just drag everything up to weekends, or weekdays. So let's just drag it up to weekday. And I called this my 9 to 5 sunset, I'll probably call it. And we'll hit the save button. So let's actually go into that time zone, my 9 to 5 sunset. If I can find it, there we go, lockdown sunset, 9 to 5 sunset, there we go. As you can see, it's 1133. So we're going to go back into our action plan, and we're going to stick in 1133 here. Now, if I hit the execute button, you'll see that the sun will set today at 9:05, where that synagogue is in New York, okay? What's nice is if I head back over to our time zone, which is 1133, hit the refresh button, you'll see that we'll write to our own API, we'll overwrite everything, and they will have their 30 minutes before that sunset time, their 150 minutes after that sunset time. That was just a requirement. And this is really nice because it shows how we can interact with those third-party devices. We can even grab information from other APIs and write to our own software. Okay, just wanted to head back to our PowerPoint real quick here. Now, Open API, ProtectorNet has a fully open API, okay? So there's no limitations to our API. It is REST and real-time. What I mean by API is you can go ahead and you can create your own user interface and you can interact with our API. You'd be able to pulse unlock doors, add, modify users, etc. For example, if you have a VoIP phone, you can integrate that to our API. So every time you hit the transfer button, it unlocks your front door. At the same time, I've made scripts on receptionists, like shortcuts on receptionist desktop, where they double click the shortcut and it unlocks their door using our API. Okay, so auto operator integrator. So I did say this is on a per door basis. You have to turn on the door. But how it works is we have configurable sequencing built into the panel. So this is good because it eliminates having to use third-party sequencing devices to actually integrate with the ADA system. And this is nice because we can go ahead and we'll unlock the strike, and then there's a configurable time if you want to wait like a 1 second, 2 second, etc., to fire that ADA. And this is good because it helps, it prevents binding. Okay. Now I do have a diagram here real quick. And if you can pull the outside button to our panel and the inside button to our panel, we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that outside button does nothing until a valid card read. So you can press it all day, but it won't work until you're granted access. And the inside button, as soon as you push that, it will activate that ADA. So that's a nice integration we have there. For Active Directory, we are integrated with LDAP, and how it works is if a user gets hired to a building, they'll obviously get added to the AD server first. We'll go ahead, we'll pull that AD server, we will add that user in ProtectorNet automatically, give them access to whatever doors are configured. What's nice is if that user gets let go from the company and they are deleted from the AD server, we'll go ahead and within a few minutes, we will also disable them from ProtectorNet so they won't have access to the doors anymore. Our alarm integration is dry contact key switch. So how it works is if you can go ahead and give us an output when your alarm system is armed, we will go ahead and blink our LED on the reader. We'll also put the door into arm mode so only users with special permissions can go through or disarm. Camera integration, I kind of went through it a little bit. How it works is we can associate cameras to doors, elevators. We can view cameras when running reports. So if you want to run a report on a forced open 2 weeks ago, click the little camera icon, you're good to go. We can also email on Digital Watchdog Hikvision. Now, for hardware integrations, for everyone that likes ASA Aperio, we are integrated with them. And how it works is one of our ODMs can control 8 ASA doors. Now, I kind of forgot to mention or show our maps. So I'll show the maps real quick. So how the map works is, as I said, it is fully active. So I'll go ahead and I can add my door. So let's hit the edit button there. I'll add my door. My front door is here. My rear door is down here. And what's nice about this is fully active. So if I open my front door, as you can see, it's fully open. My rear door, same thing. If I click on the camera, I'll get a picture of the camera. For the front door, I have the option of overrides. I can resume, I can pulse unlock the door. We also do give the option of running system action plans. So if I want to lock down all my doors, I'll hit this button right here. As you can see, all my doors are now locked down. There we go. So status locked down. If you click on lobby, we'll also be able to have user tracking. So every time you click on an area, it will tell you how much users are in that area. Now onto monitoring screen real quick. So let's go ahead and resume all of our doors because I put everything in lockdown. All right, perfect. So on our monitoring screen, we have a fully customized, a monitoring screen. So if I badge some users in, you'll obviously see I do have, there we go. You can get profile pictures, not a problem. It is fully customizable, so you can go ahead and, sorry, that's right beside. You can choose standard, large, horizontal. You can also filter if I want to see like reader access granted only. You have the option of creating whatever filter you're looking for. So now you'll only be able to see every time this user gets granted access. And it is fully customizable. Okay, let's go back over to our PowerPoint here. Perfect. Now, Hartmann actually partnered with Altronics. So we can go ahead and how it works is 2 of our 8-door kits are in an Altronics Trove kit. So up to 16 doors in 1 can. It has a built-in Altronics power supply, external power for each of the strike, and it is battery backup ready. You can order it without the external power, and then you'll connect your door strikes right to our boards. That's done by Altronics. For any Bluetooth readers, Hartmann Controls partnered with STID. And what's nice is they do MyFair, they do NFC, they do Bluetooth, but they also do a lot of special features I don't see a lot of other Bluetooth companies doing. So if you have your phone in your pocket, you could tap the phone. You can walk right up. You can swipe your hand over this reader over here, and it will grant access. They also do biometrics, keypad, or just pushing the card on the phone. So ProtectorNet has a mobile application. We called it the ProtectorNet Mobile, and we support iOS and Android. We are on the Apple and the Play Store. And this allows the administrators to override resume doors, floors, inputs, outputs. We can also execute system action plans, so that makes it really, really powerful. And we can view multiple servers on one application on the phone. So what's actually new with our hardware? So we found new reader filtering options to reduce noise, okay? What I mean by this is you have an option from level 1 to level 4, and what this will do is this will limit the amount of interference on that reader line. Our engineering team also found new approaches for doing WIGIN over Cat5e, so if you need to know that information, definitely contact our sales department. OSDP is up and coming. In the next few years, everyone will use it. Pretty much, it allows encryption between the reader and controller. So if I rip an OSDP reader off the wall and I connect another reader, or I connect my laptop to try to send information to a controller, the controller will reject all that information because it is dual encrypted, okay, both ways. The readers communicate over RS-485, so you can use a single Cat5e and go up to 3 kilometers if you want to. We can also get tamper and disconnection alerts on OSDP readers, so we can fire off any sort of lights, alarms, etc. On our software, what's new is we added notification styling. So you have the option of choosing the color of your notification. You can add a sound every time that notification pops up, and you can also change the profile picture. And for all the users that do any sort of third-party integration, we do have API keys, so you'd be able to use this character key to log into our system. So for example, Control4, if you want to do any sort of Google Home integration or anything, we do have the API key available. Now, I didn't talk much about cameras, but we do support Hikvision, ExactVision, Digital Watchdog, Milestone, Hanwha, Dahua, and a few others. That information is available online, or you can always contact sales if you do need more information. For badge printing, we support CarPresso XL. And what's nice about this software is the integration we have with them, it logs right into our database. It will grab the profile pictures, it will grab all the custom fields, departments, etc., and you can print that out. For visitor management, HID Easy Lobby actually integrated with us. And how it works is you have your user sign in at the tablet. That information is then sent to our API. That user is added on our side. And then we send back either a card number or a PIN number to the tablet. Our ProtectorNet system is fully open software ecosystem. And what I mean by this is we do support full automation. And our API is fully documented. You can have third-party devices talk to us, and we can also talk to third-party devices, like how you see I got the sunset time. We have very extensive customization through ACE. You can create any feature you want to. We like to say we can do pretty much anything. We actually do have 200 of these scripts created. We are 100% Canadian, so all our panels are manufactured north of Ontario. So there is no outsourcing being done. All our relays, nothing's coming from China or any other country. We have very cost-effective licensing, so we do design or create the panels and the software. So we don't have to charge much for licensing. And we do have a very strong warranty, which is 5 years prorated on our panels. It is a lot of information, but that being said, if anybody would like a technical webinar on the technical aspects of the product, like power rating, want to get more in depth with the action scripting engine, definitely contact our sales department, or you can also email Owen. He is our sales manager. I have his email right here, and he'll set you up with that.